Good afternoon!
Wow.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's a hump day.
It's the humpiest of hump days.
Let's go. Yeah, you are checked out.
I have 1 foot out the door.
Are you sure it's just one?
Yeah, well,
You sure we're just at 1 foot out the door?
I may be dressed to literally get on a plane.
Wait,
I don't leave until Friday morning.
you don't leave till Friday? Yeah.
Yeah.
We got today. We have 3 hours of radio power.
Yep.
And then you have
I haul Bud home
tomorrow.
But here's even
Well-
better. I go home and I have to beeline out here because I have an appointment directly at 4:00 for an hour and a half massage.
Oh, an hour and a half massage. Times are tough in your house.
It's tough. It's hard out here.
Then tomorrow we have the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic.
Indeed.
Presented by Autotown GMC and brought to you by Michelob Ultra out at Langdon Farms Golf Club.
I'll be nice and limber for that.
Morning rounds, we have a couple of foursomes available. We're going to extend. You got till midnight, so don't screw this up. Do not screw this up. We're going to have Victor Rico's out there. Matt's Barbecue is going to be out there. It's going to be an awesome day
Yes.
of golf. And we don't have a show tomorrow.
It'll be
So the
full
year foot
shenanigans.
is out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't.
You are gone.
Rust
Will be out there at 3:27.
Yes.
Maybe.
Well, I got to stick around and get podcast stuff up. Well, I guess, I don't
You
know. Do we
don't.
podcast on Best Ofs?
No, you don't need to. You
No?
can get out the door.
Yeah.
I say I'm going to go no.
Executive decision.
I am saying blame me.
Yep.
Timestamp 12:03 p.m.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to
You
get an
can
air
blame
check
me.
on that one.
Yeah, you're going to maybe you just podcast that.
Yeah, there we go.
How about we
It's a 15
podcast this
second.
tomorrow?
Hey, guys, Dusty says no podcast today,
Yeah.
so suck it.
Here we go. You ready? Ready to
Mark.
get this, Mark? Okay.
Mm.
Jeff Rust will not be podcasting Thursday's Best of Edition because he's got to get to the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic presented by Autotown GMC and brought to you by Michelob Ultra out at Langdon Farms Golf Club. He's got Victor Rico's burritos that he needs to eat and barbecue from Matt's Barbecue, along with several refreshments that he needs to drink. Thank you for listening to this podcast.
Perfect.
I just did your job.
Boom.
Tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
I think
We
you might
did
just
it.
cut me a 30-second promo, too.
I'm babe.
But we're all going to be out there, and it's a best of show because it's an event for the listeners.
Yes.
So we're going to be out there with the listeners. And guess
Hamming it
who?
up.
We're first up on the Doers par 3 6th hole.
Indeed.
We will be out there bright and early with the opening round at 7
I
a.m.
gotta go
We're
to
going to
bed
be out
early.
there. I think you can go to bed at a reasonable time.
Early.
Okay. All right. But we can go to bed early. What is early for you?
Like 10:30, 11.
Okay. So, again, a reasonable time.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I think some people are like, whoa. Wow.
Like 3 hours before I normally go to bed.
Dang.
It's life with no children.
It's gonna be a whole day of fun. We're gonna be there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. trucking along out on the course, making our rounds, and I look forward to it. So
It's gonna be
you
a blast.
have that, and then you're gone on Friday.
I am. I'm gone Friday, then I'll be back on Wednesday.
Look, you're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
You're gonna go set foot on the surface of the sun. So
Oh, God.
you are out the door.
Yeah, let's take a look and see just how bad it is in Vegas. Meow. All right, we are looking at 114, 110, 107, 106, 107. So we're dropping down a little bit because today is supposed to be 117. So I get a little break, a little respite from the sun from 117 all the way down to a balmy 105.
Have fun, dude.
Yeah.
Have fun, dude.
Good.
How did the ticket go over with the wife yesterday? I was wondering about that. You catch some hell for that?
I'm sure she was surprised it wasn't for speeding.
No, she said, because I make a big deal about not using my phone while driving more often than not. I'm not totally opposed to it, as clearly I got the ticket. But I'm not joking. I literally just unlocked my cell phone and pressed play on the podcast and put it back down there. And my wife goes, "That's the kind of thing that makes sense. That's what you were going to get pulled over for."
See?
The hilarious thing was the cop pulled up alongside me and just looked at me and watched me pull up my phone, unlock it, and put it down.
You're Al Capone, though. They're getting you for tax evasion. They're getting you for tax
They didn't
evasion
bring the
right
dogs,
now.
though.
You know,
They didn't.
if
nothing
that
was-
would have been a canine cop, we
Yep.
may not be talking to you today.
He wasn't. He was in the unmarked Charger, though.
Well, usually those canines, though, those are like the drug dogs. Aren't the cadaver dogs different?
I don't know, Jeff. Are they?
I mean, I watch TV.
I don't know. Like, when you have the canine dog,
Mhm.
they get very connected to that dog. Like,
Yes.
the dog goes home
Yeah,
with the
they
officer.
live with them.
They love that dog. And if it's like a drug dog, you're like, he's a good boy. He does
Party
a
dog.
really good job. Or you could look at it like that. But if you have a cadaver dog, are you always like kind of keeping? All right.
Searching out the red meat.
Yeah, I mean, all right, Haley Joel Osment there. Yeah, what do we do? What are we doing here? You're just kind of keeping that dog at maybe an arm's length
Yeah,
because
right.
it's a dead body dog. You know, like you don't want the kisses coming up from the cadaver dog.
No. Taste that. Yikes.
I mean, drug dog, you may get a contact high. I don't know. I don't know what that dog's getting into. But the cadaver dog, I mean, that seems a little bit more of a slippery slope there. Ew, gross. Why'd you have to do that?
Mm.
You had to
Perfect
just come
timing.
and ruin a good like we're having a good time. We're sitting over here, Shadur Sandering ourselves, and then you do that?
Yeah.
Some people.
I mean, I don't know. Talking about Danny and cadaver dogs.
All right. Well, you're already checked out.
You'd never be able to find them.
God, stop. You just don't. You don't know when.
You should never-
don't know when.
It's just a little point of emphasis. You never rent the wood chipper. You find somebody else that already has rented it.
Oh my God.
Just wait till the summertime. They're around. Stump grinders.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to own a boat. You want a buddy that owns a boat.
Yeah, exactly. That's weird. You took a trip out to the marina yesterday. They saw you take your boat out. Mm-mm.
Wasn't me. Couldn't have been me.
Still don't get the whole idea of what Dexter, for being
It
such
was
an
a good
incredible criminal,
2
why did he
years.
put the body parts in bags?
It's been I can't believe you made it 2 years.
Why, seriously, of all of the smart things that he did, why bags?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't turn it into fish food then.
Unrelated note, but kind of related.
Go on.
I saw this article today about, and I didn't read it, full disclosure. Elon Musk is taking risk mitigation measures with the Neuralink brain implant.
Mm.
It's like, wait, it's already been put in a guy, right? And now, now we're going with the. You know what we're gonna do? Risk mitigation.
Mm.
Like what? Because this goes back to our conversation we had about the Apple Pro, the goggles. You know,
Sure, yeah.
if they can hack, if hackers can hack those, can't they hack the Neuralink?
Hack your brain.
That would be the most terrifying thing of all
God.
time. That would be the worst thing ever. And could you imagine if, like, somebody's like, watch this, I'm just gonna Neuralink this dude with the Benny Hill theme, 24/7, 365.
Oh, God, that'd be perfect.
It's just gonna play non-stop.
You
in the
can't
back of
hear
your
it?
head.
I can hear it.
Like,
I'll tell you what, you're probably moving around at a faster pace all day. Nobody's walking slow to this tune.
just drive people insane.
Of all the tunes to play, this one, I mean, don't get me wrong. After hours and hours and hours of it, it would be a lot.
Yeah, it'd be fun for like the first 5 minutes, and then you're like, okay, stop.
Yeah, no,
I'm done with it now.
This loop runs for another 13 minutes.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Part of survival school, we had to you get subjugated to stressors,
Yeah.
and one of them is sound.
Mm.
And you get locked inside of a box that's no bigger than you, so you have the added stress of confined spaces. But they also do strobe lights and very loud music.
Isn't that
Torture.
against the Geneva Convention? But we'll just do it to. Hey, whoa! This is not wartime. This is training.
Also, you sign up for it, and again, you waive your rights.
Like we're gonna go ahead and just get you ready in case somebody goes against it.
Yeah, well, they played metal music, so I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, isn't that what they do at in? Then weren't they doing that for torture in Iraq? Was
Yeah.
like
Sleep deprivation is the thing. It's not the music. It's
and
the sleep
playing
deprivation.
Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Which, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a nice, like, 6-minute song, so it doesn't, like, hit over the top over and over again. It's not quite as short and choppy.
Ooh, the Baby Shark song. What is the most annoying song?
The song that will never end.
Oh, from Lamb Chop's
Yeah.
Play Along.
Yeah, that's it.
This is the song.
Yeah.
I got like 800. There are so many terrible songs out right now.
Mhm.
I mean, it is
Pretty much all of mumble rap.
awful. Yeah, yeah. But then they like will kids bop some beats.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even kids bop because they actually try to do a good job at it.
Mhm.
They'll do like a beat of a popular song and then they'll have like children make up their own lyrics.
Oh, that's painful.
Yeah, and then like your kids find it on YouTube or whatever
Mhm.
they're playing
And then
like
they
kids
start
music
singing
on the Alexa or whatever. Oh, you're just like, I want to stab my ears out.
Yeah, see,
What was one of them
Oh,
my kid
no.
played like ad nauseum about? The Coffin Dance song is, if you heard it, you'd probably recognize it, but it's god awful. And there were versions upon versions of it upon versions, and yeah, terrible.
does
See?
it make me a terrible human? I mean, the answer is probably going to be yes. But if you're singing, and I don't care if you're 5 or 50, and you're terrible at it, I want you to shut up immediately. Like,
Oh,
I
really?
can't stand it. The sound of somebody who can't singing, like non-jokingly, like actually, like I get viscerally angry. Like it makes my like traps curl and my neck get very, very, very short.
Let me cue up the 9 to 5 intro, hourly intro.
He said bad singing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. See,
You're the songbird of our generation.
like it makes my skin crawl.
Okay.
I can't remember where it was. It was like a kids choir, and I was like, oh god, like my eyes started twitching because everything was so off key. It was giving me very strong I play with trains energy.
Oh, here's
Sucking
one.
on, chili dog.
That's great.
Like we said,
Yeah.
songbird of our generation. Yeah. Like we have a text coming in, most annoying song, USC. This is the only song we know, and we play it all day long. Bleh. Rocky Top will get to you, too, in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because the whole crowd starts singing it.
Yeah.
110,000 people.
This one coming in on the
And
YouTube
everybody
chat.
sings it poorly, though.
Mhm.
Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me.
Chiming in from the YouTube chat is the
Rocky
Cars for
Top.
Kids theme.
The what?
Cars for Kids.
1877 cars for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J.G. Wentworth is up there for like great songs.
Yeah. But those all of that, like there is a media group where they make jingles that they know are not good, but
But
they're
they're catchy.
memorable. And
100%.
you will have it stuck in your head. I think most annoying song in the world right now is the Burger King song.
See, everyone says that.
BK, have it your way.
You rule.
But when you hear it all day long.
I guess I just haven't heard it enough.
Whopper,
Which is weird.
Whopper, Whopper, Whoppers.
Because I watch sports
Junior,
endlessly.
Single, double,
Yeah.
Whopper.
Have a demon child.
Yeah.
and it'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Well, I mean, and the likelihood of me having a demon child is like 1,000%. So
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. If
That's,
you're getting
that's the stone cold lock of the century.
yeah. Yeah.
my wife's
My
like,
kid
well,
every-
my wife goes, what if the kid turns out to be like me? And we're like, we're not that lucky. I have done so much wrong in this life that
Yeah.
it is going to be visited upon us tenfold, and I'm sorry.
Danny's already signed too many deals with the devil for that one.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It happens.
My 7-year-old every now and then she'll just bust out with the ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Eh.
But when it happens all the time, you
Yes.
just like make it stop.
Yeah.
Make it stop. All right. Well, 503-864-6326. That's the Vancouver Ford text line. That's how you can chime in. Also on the YouTube chat, youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan. We got a lot that we need to get to today. It's Big 12 Media Days. And stop me if you've heard this one before. Mike Gundy has stepped in it.
Oh, no way.
Oh, way. Deion Sanders has taken the podium, and everybody is chuckling their brains out at that one. We have Team USA news today. And then
Lots of it, actually.
We do have lots of it. Another missed opportunity
Yes.
by the Olympic Committee.
On both sides, yep.
All right. And then some NFL. Look, we're getting football heavy. Basketball news has slowed down. What's going on?
Give me a day.
Oh, we will give you a day because tomorrow, Best Stuff Show. Some NBA.
I'll have more after that.
We'll get some in there. Team USA plays tonight.
Indeed.
Yeah, against Canada.
Canada.
Yeah. I forgot that we lost to Canada in basketball.
Yeah, the FIBA cycle. Yeah.
Look,
what are we doing?
Dylan Brooks hit like 7 threes.
They do have a pretty good roster.
Yeah, they don't have a single.
And Dylan Brooks.
They don't have a single big. Like Kelly Olynyk is like their only big because Edie's not playing because the Grizzlies won't let him.
But what are we doing?
So
what are we doing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is why we sent the old team out there.
Yes.
Yeah. We just don't care about FIBA. We just care about the Olympics.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it does make sense because I didn't even know it.
Yeah,
it happened.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I mean, it's all starting to track in my
small.
brain. It's like we don't care about the FIBA Cup. Whatever. We'll take a. We didn't even medal. Is that right? We lost a bronze medal game.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Fire Kerr. Was Steve Kerr coaching that?
I don't remember.
I think it was the same kind of result that spurred them going to the Dream Team in '92.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like,
I remember
this.
watching at the Memorial Coliseum. I went and watched that Dream Team play in the Cup of Americas that they had before the Olympics.
Before the barnstorming tour.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Tournament of the Americas.
Tournament of the Americas.
Yes.
That was badass,
when
dude.
they won every game by 60.
Yeah. And I got.
You know, we actually have that coming up in the ranks right now in the U17, U18 circuit.
Oh, really?
This group is being kind of heralded as the next golden generation of USA basketball. Has AJ DeBonsa, Cam Boozer, a couple others.
Cooper Flack.
Both. Well, no, he's no longer a part of that
U17
because he's on the actual national
yeah.
select team. He actually technically does qualify, I believe, because he's still 17 through December of this year, which is insane to think about. But no, they just went through the FIBA tournament, and their average margin of victory was 64 points.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Cam Boozer averaged 22 and 10, I think, on like 60% from the field. Yeah. Yeah, no, this group that is coming up right now for Team USA and France are going to have some battles coming up in the next like 12 years in international basketball.
All right.
So
well, good.
that's fun.
Suck on that, Canada.
Yeah, the Canada's until they get actual bigs, they're just not going to be that relevant.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. Which college football team is poised to have the biggest letdown this season? We'll have a poll up coming up in the next segment.
Indeed.
This is Danny Dusty on The Fan. poll is up at Danny and Dusty on Twitter right now. Which college football team is poised to have the biggest letdown this season? Bum, bum, bum. Your choices are, or you can reply in the comments below. Your choices are Colorado, Oregon, Ohio State, and Michigan. Go ahead and vote on the poll at Danny and Dusty on social media right meow. We've started Big 12 Media Days. They are out and about, and we're ramping up towards the college football season. You have all of the EA Sports team rankings, player rankings. They released their top 100 players today of EA Sports. We'll dive into that in a little bit here. But there is a lot of commotion. I think that with those 4 options that you got right there, I think there's some different avenues on each of them, right?
There's different ways of going with it for sure.
Because with Colorado, this is a 4-8 team from a year ago that somehow, some way, the EA Sports folks believe is a top 25 football program this year. 4-8 last year. Atrocious offensive line.
Somehow they have a top 25 offense and defense.
Does not compute in my brain whatsoever.
Maybe they do from a skill position. No,
Yeah.
not thought either.
No. Well, I mean, Travis Hunter is
Really good.
really good.
Not the number 1 rated player in EA Sports NCAA football though.
We'll go down this road a little bit later, but I think they got it right in one aspect. I think Travis Hunter is a better receiver than he is a corner.
Oh,
I do. I
because he doesn't like contact.
I believe that's not it at all. I just think that if you take his skill set and what he does on the field, I think he can translate to being a better receiver. His ball skills are incredible as a wide receiver and as a corner, which makes him a very good corner, and he is a good corner. But I think he is a better wide receiver because of the lapses that you see defensively from Travis Hunter. You don't see those lapses on the other side of the ball. Maybe he should play one side of the ball, but Colorado can't afford that because they're not good enough to do it.
No.
But you have Oregon as well, where expectations are sky high for this Ducks team. Dan Lanning is the toast of college football. You have guys like Josh Pate from Lake Kick on 24/7 Sports saying that Oregon is the next machine in college football. We know the NIL is coming through for them. They recruit at a ridiculous level that the university's never seen before, and they have acquired enough talent to be in that conversation of taking that next step forward and being a playoff team. But then you have Ohio State, which is also on this poll, where you sit there and you say, there is no reason, and I've been banging this drum since I watched their spring game. That's the most talented team that I have seen. And they are stacked at every single position.
And if it's not, I think this is the thing that we're talking about with this is it's a sliding scale for teams in this group. In that, is making the national title game enough for Ohio State, or is winning? I think it almost has to be winning. Right?
It is winning this year, and so that is for Oregon. It is obviously getting to the college football playoff, getting to the semifinal, or which is winning in the college football playoff. Not an easy thing to do, right? And I think that is the expectation of you have a top 4 roster in the country, and when you have a good roster, when you have a coach that people are raving about across the board, you should be taking that next step forward. Ohio State is title or bust because that's how talented they are. And then Michigan at the bottom of this is a team where you lose your head coach, you lose 18 players drafted. I mean, it's incredible. Yet there is still the hype around them to be a top 10 team and competitive for
not relevant like a top 10 team.
A top 10 team that's competitive for a Big Ten championship this year against the likes of Oregon and Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't. It's again, it's the sliding bar for teams here. Like if Michigan falls short of that with a new head coach and 18 players in the NFL, people are going to go, "Oh well, X."
Yeah,
it's what's going to happen. Dion and Colorado continue to suck. It's going to be Colorado's doing X, Y, or Z, or not doing that. But the two at the top with Ohio State and Oregon, it's very interesting that both teams are looked at as top 4 teams in the country very clearly across every poll. But the expectations are that Oregon is still building while Ohio State has been built for 4 years. And regardless of what has happened, that the time is now, where with Dan Lanning, it's still more in Oregon. It's still, they're a year maybe still away, even though this is still looked at as a team that's supposed to be great. And it's kind of, it's a strange contrast, because last year when we were talking about Ohio State, Kyle McCord was, you kind of killed me for it. I just did not like him. Those first 3 games of him playing, I was like, nope, this isn't it. But even then, they have so much talent. That wide receiver room was so crazy. The weapons were so insane. The amount of time that he had was so insane that he wasn't able to get it done. And now you look at a team like Oregon, who they bring in Dylan Gabriel, and even without the experience and those opportunities, as much talent as Ohio State has, which quarterback do you trust more? Do you trust Oregon's quarterback more, or do you trust Ohio State's quarterback more?
I will trust Dylan Gabriel over Will Howard. But Will Howard is a guy that, when you look at him and his resume, Kansas State,
done more with less.
It is keep it between the navigational buoys, which is at times what Kyle McCord
didn't do.
He failed to do. And so if he can do that and kind of just keep the talent and just distribute the ball, and they will have questions. Their offensive line depth is
Sure.
of concern at Ohio State, but they are really good. Can they stay healthy, and how do they hold up against a stacked defensive line across the board in the Big Ten? Big Ten has got some dudes up front.
Yes.
I mean, they are. And you look at Ohio State and their schedule this year, they're going to have Oregon. They're going to have Michigan, obviously, on their schedules this year. They're going to be going up against some of the better defensive lines across the country. They have Iowa. They have Nebraska. They got Penn State this year.
Penn State has got 2 absolute monsters up front.
They're going to have their hands full on the schedule front when you're Ohio State. And so that is one where you say, all right, do they stub their toe somewhere across the board? My vote on this poll goes to Colorado.
Yeah.
And it goes to Colorado because of the hype train is so far out in front of the results that we have seen that I don't understand. The math done math here. And when you look at their schedule, the shine could come off week 1.
Right out of the gate.
They play North Dakota State week 1.
Remember, this is the team that in Colorado State that took them to triple overtime.
No, Colorado State, did they play them week 3? North Dakota State.
That's what I'm saying. What we're talking about, like, I don't think people truly understand how good of a program North Dakota State is and has been for a very long time.
Now, they did lose their head coach to USC.
Yes.
And
but
they have picked up at every iteration
Yes.
of their head coach, and they played for a national title last year. No, they didn't last year because 2 years ago they did. Last year they lost to Montana State.
Yes.
In the semifinals, in Montana or Montana State?
Montana, because Bill Orem was watching that game.
That's right. They lost South Dakota State. But still a really damn good team.
Yes.
And
they have got a lot of Division I top-end talent that kind of falls to the wayside. They're one of those kind of schools. And then they go, oh, we'll take all the chip on your shoulder, guys. And then we'll come up there and kick your butt.
Yep. And so you have Colorado comes out of the gate
What's the spread on that game?
North Dakota State, and then they have Nebraska. They go to Nebraska, and Matt Rule has improved that roster tremendously at Nebraska. Are they at the point where they're a Big Ten contender? No, not yet. But at the same time, you sit there and you look at it and you go, an improved roster from a team that was not a complete road apple a year ago. You look at Nebraska and go, all right, we'll see. What's the line there?
Quick little update here for entertainment purposes only. North Dakota State is +8.5.
Yeah, +8.5.
I think I might.
Let's hold on. Let's reframe this here.
An
FCS program
is not a 3-touchdown dog.
Single-digit dog on the road against a Big 12 team that is supposed to have top 25 offense and defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Playing at elevation.
And then if either one of those games early, if God forbid both of those games go sideways early for Colorado, we saw what happened last year, right? All of a sudden, the rips just start to they unravel.
This
in a
is not a
hurry.
team made of Kevlar. This is a team put together with duct tape and Bondo.
And so outside of those two games, they have on their schedule Baylor, Central Florida, Kansas State, Arizona, Utah, and they have to go to Texas Tech. They have to go to Kansas. Kansas is going to be good this year, folks.
Top 25 team.
Arizona, top 25 team. Texas Tech, tough place to play.
Tetherell McMillan is one of the highest rated players in NCAA football. I was scrolling through and I was like,
Yeah, he's good, dude.
huh.
He is the real
Turns out being
deal.
very big and very athletic with hands the size of dinner plates is a very good thing to be as a wide receiver.
Which leads us to our next segment.
Hmm.
Dion took the podium today.
Ooh.
And Dion was full on Dion. That after Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on the Fan, Team USA wraps up their training tonight in Las Vegas with a warm-up against Canada. 7:30 tip on FS1. No Kevin Durant due to a calf issue, but he still intends to play in the Olympics. Kawhi Leonard leaving the team as he wants to focus on preparing for the upcoming Clippers season. He'll be replaced by Celtics guard Derek White. The Mariners' bats sparked them to a win over the Padres last night in San Diego. The same two teams back at it today. 3:40 first pitch on Root Sports. Bryce Miller starting for Seattle, opposite Michael King for San Diego. The Mariners still clinging to a 2-game lead in the AL West over the Astros, who host the Marlins tonight. England and the Netherlands squaring off in a Euro 24 semifinal for the right to face Spain in Sunday's final. They are currently just started the 35th minute. And after Netherlands got things started, Harry Kane with the equalizer in the 18th minute on a penalty kick. And semifinal number 2 in Copa America with the winner of Colombia and Uruguay facing Argentina in the final. Kickoff at 5 o'clock on FS1. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
It's coming, The Fan at Big Ten Media Day with the coaches and players you want to hear. July 23rd through the 25th on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
The poll is up at Danny and Dusty on Twitter. Go and vote. Which college football team is poised to have the biggest letdown this season? You can, if you don't believe it's any of these 4 programs, you can go down and reply in the comments with yours. But we have Colorado, Oregon, Ohio State, and Michigan. Current leader in the clubhouse, Colorado, 48.1% of the votes are out for Colorado.
They love to hate it.
They sure do. Do you know the last time Colorado won a football game?
Was it the Colorado State game?
No.
They won one more after that because they started 3-0.
You remember when Arizona State lost all their quarterbacks and had nobody playing?
That's right, and they had the running back playing quarterback. Was it Scatabo?
Scatabo.
Yeah.
They beat Arizona State 27-24.
It was close.
On October 7th.
Didn't Shador have 4 picks in that game?
I don't remember. That. But if you go down and you look at it, that would be 2, 4, 6 straight losses to end the season for the Colorado Buffaloes. After a 3-0 start, they finished last year at 4-8, yet somehow, some way, they fired their offensive coordinator because that was the problem.
Yeah.
They go and they run off everybody and they throw their offensive line completely under the bus, which, I mean, their offensive line was really bad. But at the same time, you don't see it happen in any sport where you have people this vocal about how poor their offensive line play is. And they have overhauled their roster yet again through the transfer portal. And lost a lot of the marquee recruits that they brought in their initial recruiting class. I believe almost every single one of their marquee high school recruits from their initial recruiting class in Boulder is entered the transfer portal again and found new homes, including Dylan Edwards, who had a phenomenal year last year. Expectations are high again for this Colorado team after a 3-0 start last year. And Deion Sanders at Big 12 Media Day, he was going full on Deion, and I can't really understand this one.
I'm judged on a different scale. My wins are totally different than your wins. Your wins, you just judge in football. That's why I have to start out and give you education and academics and so forth. I have to give you those things so you understand there's a greater scope. I can't win 9 games and our GPA suffers. Our GPA can't be high, but we lose another 8 games. We can't not go and grab high school players and you got a bunch of guys in the portal, out of the portal that's getting incarcerated. My wins are different. We have to win in every area. That's the way we're judged. And I'm cool with that because we come a little different.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Deion that said he likes his linemen to come from single-parent homes?
I think it was before he was the coach at Colorado, right?
I'm just wondering. Yeah. Because he's talking about GPA and consistency and incarcerated. He basically it said he wanted thugs for his team. He wanted tough guys for his team. That doesn't mean he wanted high-level educators.
I don't know.
That
was 47 seconds of I don't know what that means. But your wins aren't judged the same because you only got 4 of them.
Yeah, and the reason your wins aren't judged the same is because you said you're coming in there and you're bringing Louis. You didn't try to sneak up on anybody.
Yeah.
You wanted the pomp and circumstance. And when you get pomp and circumstance and it falls flat, they're going to come over and they're going to curb stomp you because that's what happens. You can't sit there and blow all that smoke and then when it turns out that it's all fake, that they're just going to dismiss it. It's just Deion being Deion.
And remember all the smoke with their 3-0 start where they beat TCU, Nebraska, Colorado State in double overtime. And then they went to Eugene, and it was 42-0 in the blink of an eye. Ducks called the dogs off after Noah Whittington's injury in that game. And it wasn't until 2:51 to go in the football game when it was 42-0 that they finally got on the board. At that point, that started a spiral where they went from 3-0 to 4-8 on the season.
Is 1-8 over your final 9 games? Is that good?
No, and 1-8 in conference play as well in the Pac-12.
And look, the Pac-12 had an incredible year last year. Top to bottom, it was incredibly competitive. The Big 12 is not going to be that per se, but there's a lot of talent in the Big 12. And this whole idea of like Colorado's going to go over there and do something, you're not even close to the best team from the Pac-12 moving to the Big 12, let alone being one of the best teams in the Big 12. That's Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. It's Utah, folks. Utah is going to go over there and they're going to be a big swing and you know what out there. That's what they've done as a school for the last decade. They have been a very, not even just competent, very good program. Now, Kansas State, Kansas, that's your three. Those are your, I would say, those are your three teams that are vying.
I'll throw Arizona State or Arizona in there.
Okay.
I'll throw Arizona in there.
You want to say that's your fourth team is going to vie for the conference title?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're certainly talented.
Yeah. I mean, they get new head coach, though, in Brent Brennan, who did a phenomenal job at San Jose State and did a great job of keeping all their guys. Kept Noah Fafita, kept Tetsuo McMillan. They have got, and by the way, it's not just those two guys that they were able to hold on to. They've got
basically everyone. They only
good
lost
offensive
a couple
line,
guys.
good defensive linemen. Like Jetfish did a phenomenal job of stocking the cupboard, and Washington fans should be encouraged, not just by the recent recruiting trend that UW has had, but also the fact that what he was able to do at Arizona in kind of changing that program in such short order. And they were guys that wanted to stick around, and they were able to hold on to a lot of those guys. Arizona's going to be really good this year, and that is where I look at it. And you mentioned all of those programs that we just mentioned. They're on Colorado's schedule this year. They play Kansas State. They go to Arizona. They play Utah. They go to Kansas, and then on top of that, you got the middle of the pack, which is going to be pretty good next year in the Big 12, is Oklahoma State, Baylor, UCF. Well, all will pose problems for a team that went 4-8 a year ago.
And UCF's quarterback is already through Big 12 media days. He's got a clip from a printout of Skip Bayless calling Shedeur Sanders not only the best quarterback in the Big 12, but the best quarterback in the country. Printed out on his locker. He's like, I've got 10,000 yards passing. What was it KJ Henderson from Arkansas?
KJ Henderson, who he was the Arkansas quarterback and now is at Central Florida.
10,000 total yards.
That's
a quarterback
good.
Already.
And
transferred to UCF.
And look, I've long said this. I hope Dion is successful.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to have that.
I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be a good NFL quarterback. That does NFL success and college success at the quarterback position does not always correlate.
Tebow.
Well,
every USC quarterback not named Carson Palmer.
Just about every Alabama quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah, and Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. Well, Mahomes was pretty prolific though.
But because he threw the ball a billion times.
I'm just saying.
But it doesn't translate to always winning.
God,
we are drawing this correlation to they got Shedeur Sanders. They got to win games. No, you don't.
No. Well, I would say in college you do. When you're that talented in college, it typically does translate to wins.
But I think he is. We don't always see that though.
No, you're right. I'm saying it typically.
Your team has to be good around you. You can be a really good quarterback and then fall flat on your face in the NFL.
I'm just talking about a talented quarterback in college. Typically, it translates to wins.
But your entire team around you has got to be better than what we're seeing, and that's why I go with Dion saying my wins, they're not equal to yours. It's like he always talks about that's loser talk.
Yeah.
What that was loser talk.
Well,
because you're not winning games on the field. He's trying to find wins somewhere else.
The funny thing here is, when you really think about this, my wins are not equal to your wins, yet they barely squeaked out a triple overtime win against Colorado State, who was running the same crossing routes for 3 quarters that you could not stop. And yet you were getting so gassed up into that game against Oregon that it was beyond recognizable. It was a WWE promo. But sure, your wins don't count the same. You barely beat a Mountain West team. and that's what you got, that level of treatment. Where in reality, what should have happened is they should have taken you to the woodshed for barely beating a Mountain West team that was running the same play. That wide receiver, I want to say he had like 18 catches in that game.
Yeah. That it was.
By the way, he's also
bonkers.
in EA Sports 25 or NCAA Football 25. He's in, I believe, the top 25.
Hey,
That Colorado State wide receiver.
All right.
Turns out that performance might have got him some love there.
All right. Way to go.
Hmm.
All right. Go ahead, vote on the poll, and we'll revisit it a little bit later. Where we got to go next is wire fraud, the NBA, and it's getting even uglier. Next on The Fan. Just got to say, it's Wrestling Wednesday, and Rust is playing bangers. We go Stone Cold Steve Austin, Roddy Piper, and Hulk Hogan right out the gate. Well, you get me hyped. There's a lot of dudes right now sitting in their trucks. Like, it's 90 degrees. It's going to be heating up to 90. They're just ripping off their shirts right now because you got such high tea rolling through the Portland metro area.
Setting up for a hell of a Wednesday, my friends.
Ooh.
Gosh.
I like it.
Jonte Porter, remember him?
I
Toronto
do.
Raptors player who...
Dummy McDumberton.
Only remember him because of this.
Yeah, that is right. He is banned from the NBA for life. Does that mean he can't go and watch his brother play in an arena?
Technically, I believe so. Like there have been acquaintances of players in the NBA who were made nameless that are no longer allowed in arenas.
Wait, why are they nameless still? Can we name them?
No, I'm not gonna throw them under the bus.
Well, they got banned for
Yeah, they
something. All right. Okay. Well,
What, Oakley's only banned from MSG, right?
I think they let him back in. I think didn't he get
I can't remember. His was.
I thought James Dolan got bullied into letting him back.
His was nasty.
Okay, yeah, because he hates James Dolan.
Well-
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, get in line.
And the funny thing was that was happening while the Knicks were also trying to recruit Kevin Durant. And by the way, Charles Oakley was working as an advisor to the Warriors at that time, which means he was spending basically every day with Kevin Durant.
Oh,
So if you're wondering how Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving ended up in Brooklyn and not New York,
all right.
draw some lines.
James Dolan.
Well, Jonte Porter was caught up in a betting scandal where he was taking the unders on his prop bets for games and pulling himself out of games so that he would hit the under on a lot of them. And he got popped for it. And it was pretty easy to track because, I don't know, he was doing it on a betting app. Well, he pled guilty today, or pleaded guilty, to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. That's a big one, dude. That...
Yeah, he's got $250,000 in bail.
It's
a federal felony.
He might not be worrying about seeing Michael Porter play basketball live and worry about watching him from a prison.
In a jumpsuit. Yeah.
He could get over 4 years.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, I think this is just tip of the iceberg for what he was involved with, because it does, all of the
He's
information
rolling
to
over.
this point sounds like he got in too deep with some shady characters, and this is how, the feds are going to kind of put their thumb on the scale, and it's gonna be ugly, man. And this could be just like the, Shohei Ohtani with Mizuhara. Oh gosh, what was his last name? Mizuhara.
Or was it
Ipe
Ipe
Mizuhara.
Yeah.
Ipe Mizuhara. In that scandal, where all of a sudden we've started finding out that illegal books and the trickle up to casinos was involved in that one, which that's gotten really quiet, hadn't it? Where there's a casino executive.
Yeah. Multiple, like a guy who was like the chief operating officer of a casino who had previous issues at another casino that somehow weren't disclosed, yet you've got federal records that showed he had issues at another casino beforehand. Yeah, it turns out the record keeping at federal levels not great, folks. Who knew? One of the notes that came out of this was that part of the reason that Jonte Porter did this, they have a text message that has been released
this is
through
good.
the evidence where Jonte Porter wrote back to one of the other four men in the complaint stating, "You hate me, and if I don't get you $8K by Friday, you're coming to Toronto to beat me up." Basically, he was reiterating, I want you to say, basically the guy said, spell out what I'm telling you right now. And he replied basically, if I don't get you your money, you're going to come beat the hell out of me.
Uh-oh.
So if you want to get a general idea of the people he was in with, there you go.
Choir boys.
Also,
Choir
I love
boys.
how he spelled it, you hate me, with you, just the letter U. And if I don't get you, again, letter U, 8K by Friday. Dang. Everything else is spelled out, but he just singled you for the word you.
That is brutal.
Cell phone shorthand always, the younger people are, the more it skews towards, I don't know what this is anymore.
Well, yeah, and when this investigation started, remember the text that was uncovered that he said might just get hit with a RICO, and he sent that to one of the guys that he's involved with, 4 shady dudes. And one of them he sent, we might just get hit with the RICO. And I don't think that it was a Drake line that he was tweeting. I think, or that he was texting. I think it means that the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. I believe that's what he was talking about, right? Not just reciting Drake lyrics.
Yeah.
He made $410,000 as his salary. His bail, which you only have to post 10% of, is $250,000.
So $25,000.
And he's facing hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines.
Yes.
With this.
Which good thing his brother makes, I don't know, $170 million?
You think he's going to front him that cash, or you think he's saying you're on your own?
His family.
I don't know. There might be one where I'm like, you have to sit this one out, bud.
Well, you pay him off and then you give him a job as your business manager.
That's how it works, huh?
Like, do you think that sounds insane? I bet you I could pull out 4 different instances.
500 of them, Danny. 500 of them.
Hey, yeah, you got arrested for losing somebody else's money or gambling or some other kind of conspiratorial crime, and you should come work for me and manage my money. It's in safe hands then.
Oh, my goodness.
Ugh.
All right, we got another injury. Should we be concerned? And no, it's not Kevin Durant. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours. Special shout-outs, my sister. Happy birthday.
Oh, there you go. Happy birthday, sis.
Yeah. I'm not going to say how old she is.
Mm.
I'm not going to disrespect her like that.
Older or younger?
Older.
Why did that sound like Kendrick going A minor?
She's older. All right.
So Dusty's 40. Carry the.
Wow.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to her. Or, okay, go ahead.
Keep going.
Keep doing the math.
It's okay. I'm still older.
All right. Hey, by the way, if you like this show, if you like any of our shows, go check out the fan merch locker at 1080thefan.com. We have the Dirt and Sprague Bacon and Football shirt, the Danny and Dusty Absolute Unit shirt,
He was an absolute unit.
and we also have a Mike Lynch approved shirt, helping Mike take a swinge against ALS. Get them now at 1080thefan.com. They're great T-shirts, just $25. Go to 1080thefan.com.
That's swing, spelled SWINJ.
And all the profits from that go to Mike's GoFundMe.
The confidence.
Help our homie
the
out.
confidence in that J at the end.
Oh, buddy.
I just got the email that my shirt shipped yesterday.
Hey, all
So
right.
it is en route to the Rust household.
There you go. Home, babe.
An official member of the Jeff Rust T-shirt Club.
Yes.
All right. Cool. We have a little bit of news as it pertains to Team USA. Kawhi Leonard has withdrawn.
Oh, no way.
The Clippers apparently said, hey, could you not?
Well, here's the thing. Kawhi himself said it at the first round of media introductions for Team USA Saturday, that he had only just felt normal 2 weeks ago. And he was going to ramp up and play in an international competition?
Yeah, and he said that he had some sort of inflammation, apparently, in his knee, and he said that his knee was neutral just like a day ago, which is like robot Kawhi going, I need oil.
Yeah.
He just needs a little...
Yeah. Is that robot for day to day?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he has withdrawn, and they have replaced him with Celtics guard Derek White,
So
which seems like a miscalculation.
on multiple levels, real quick now, there's now 3 Celtics on Team USA. Jason Tatum,
Yes.
Drew Holiday,
Yes.
and Derek White.
Derek White.
Who's missing?
Jalen Brown?
I was going to go with Al Horford.
Yeah.
He's playing for the
Puerto Rico.
Dominican
Or
team.
Dominican.
Oh, that's
sorry. Dominican.
Come on,
I said Puerto
get
Rico.
out of here with that.
Yeah, him and Jose Alvarado, not the same person. One much more irritating than the other. Jalen Brown tweeted out the 3 emoji, the thinking emoji with a monocle. I think this goes along the lines of him going, I don't get the respect. And the thing that I'm wondering now, does Jalen Brown, is he disrespected or is he just not liked?
With that contract, he is not disrespected.
No. But I mean, like, he wins Finals MVP, he gets his respect there. He wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He gets the contract. He didn't get All NBA this year. Didn't make the All Star team. Like, I feel like
what did he do to not be liked, though?
Here's the thing. I don't think it's not necessarily disliked. I think people are ambivalent towards him.
Yeah,
he's a little bit of a weirdo. I mean, he's Kyrie adjacent with some of the stuff he's done. Not full committal.
What has he done
on the political side of things? Remember the Black Israelites that showed up at the protest?
Yeah,
Jalen may have sided with those guys.
Okay. I do not remember that.
Yeah.
Right.
He had to backpedal on that one, but it was like he's had some, like, again, Kyrie adjacent level takes where you're just like, And I wonder if in the league that it's not necessarily he's disliked, like Kyrie, for whatever you want to say about him, and there's plenty to say about him that has been very dumb. Not the things that have said have been dumb, but that he's done. Kyrie's beloved.
Yeah, his teammates do
love him. Like, he's a very well-liked, charismatic, fun guy.
He's one of the reasons why Klay Thompson, who's one of the most beloved players in the NBA, wanted to go to Dallas, is because of Kyrie Irving.
In their time together with the Olympics team. They're very familiar with each other.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say, I don't like Jalen. but I've never heard anybody be like, Jalen's my guy.
See,
And I wonder if that's a bigger part of this.
there's some politicking that also goes into this too, where
Mm-hmm.
if you're left out of a player pool initially, we have guys that hold guard. Damian Lillard did this, right? When they tried to call the takebacks and tried to get him back into the player pool before he was actually an Olympian. Remember that? And he was like, no, you guys didn't want me then. Why do you want me now? And so I think maybe that's at play. I don't know the case with Jaylen Brown. But what I do know is I think that with Derek White, it kind of fits what they're looking for, right? A guy who won't be trying to prove himself that he will be in the starting lineup, right? A guy who doesn't need the ball in his hands on the offensive side. And he's defensive minded, which I think in international basketball, you absolutely have to have defensive minded guard play because that's what's gotten them in trouble before. And he kind of checks all of those boxes where he's going to be a no ego amigo, where if he's sitting at the end of the bench the whole time, that's okay. And the minutes that he does give you will be not needing and requiring a ton of touches on the offensive end and giving you a defensive presence on that end of the floor.
I hear what you're saying. My counter to that is Carmelo Anthony exists. Carmelo Anthony, Olympic Melo, was an entirely different basketball player than he ever was in his career. And he was taken on that team regardless because of the higher end talent. Jaylen Brown's talent to Derek White's is pretty significant.
Sure.
Also, it's probably good to notice or highlight Jaylen Brown was an Adidas athlete. He has been a shoe free agent for a number of years now. Derek White is a Nike PE guy. Just as a aside, Team USA is run by the swoosh. So I'm not saying that played into it, but I'm saying it probably didn't hurt.
Yeah.
It's what kept Damian Lillard off Team USA twice, was him being an Adidas guy. So, but yeah, I genuinely want to, because the whole like well-liked thing, Derek White is well-liked.
Yeah.
Well-liked, well-respected, all those things.
And if you're wondering, 4 hours ago, Jaylen Brown tweeted out the monocle
emojis,
like
the three of them together.
Like, why am I not on this?
Mhm.
Which maybe he
I
is
think-
disliked, and we just don't know it on a
or is it
grander scale.
ambivalence? That's
Yeah.
what I think. It's more ambivalence than dislike.
Yeah.
I think it's like whatever. And I think
Well, why no Kyrie Irving then too? Because Kyrie's not on.
Kyrie
on
is
it either.
Kyrie is older though, and I think the finals did show that he's maybe there's some wear and tear there. I think that might be a real thing. Also, I don't think you're going to see Kyrie playing on the international stage again, just because of all the stuff, all of the baggage that came. Because in between the cycles, he didn't.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I think that period's probably over for him, which.
Bum bum bum.
Considering what's going on right now in the Middle East, the last thing you want is him over there. To be blunt,
It's not. You're not wrong.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
because over there you're getting that question.
100%.
You're getting that
over
question.
and over again.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's not even worth it.
And you
to
know
bring it.
he's going to answer it.
Yes.
He's going to answer it again and again and again and again and again.
And it's going to get worse every time.
Wow.
So it's just not even worth it. Here's the thing, though. Did Team USA drop the ball by not going with Cooper Flagg?
No, I think that because positionally, right? I mean, is Cooper Flagg going to play guard for you?
No, I mean, here's the thing. I think Cooper Flagg is number one. I don't think Derek White is going to be a guy that plays a ton.
No.
I think what's going to end up happening here is Kawhi was not a start. He was not a starter. He was probably going to be your sixth man, seventh man. I don't think Derek White is going to be that. I think everything's going to kind of get pushed up.
Yeah,
and
well,
Derek White will
absolutely.
fall to the back of that pack. So, and if that was going to be the case, go with Cooper.
But when you need, they bring him on for being a defensive presence,
Yeah.
right?
Again, Cooper's 6'8", and I think he's genuinely can cover 1 through 4.
But if you're bringing a guy on, you have that proven commodity.
Sure.
And look, the rest of the world in basketball is catching up. The United States should blow everybody out of the ball.
They are strong favorites this year.
As they should be.
Yes. The team that they have is pretty dumb.
But if you are looking at balance of your roster, I mean, it would make sense. Derek White does make a little more sense from a basketball standpoint, but from a messaging and how cool it would be, hell yeah, Cooper Flagg should. Yes, you should think about putting him on the team over Derek White.
And again, I don't think this is a he earned it thing, but neither did Bronny James. This is the same thing. The same reason why Caitlin Clark should be on the women's team, Cooper Flagg should be on the men's team. You have an opportunity to have a global showcase for your up and coming faces of the league, and you have opportunities because you've had injuries. Why are you not doing it? You're sitting here talking about, well, nepotism exists, and sometimes the path is different. JJ Redick goes straight to the coaching chair for the Lakers. Sometimes the path is different for other people.
I also feel that USA basketball has turned into you have to earn your stripes to get there. I mean,
sure,
because of all the guys that we've seen get left off the roster, and I mean, could you imagine Jaylen Brown if they put Cooper Flagg on instead of him?
Yeah,
at least they picked a teammate who's played in the NBA.
My point was just piss everyone off with the move instead of just Jaylen Brown. And as far as the whole earned it thing, Diana Taurasi didn't earn her 6th trip.
No, but that's the whole thing, is that she earned her place on that team, and until
it's the other side of the same coin, though. It's the other side of the same coin. She doesn't deserve to be there right now.
No,
and yet you're doing it. You're making the same excuse on the old side that you're not willing to make on the young side.
Yeah, but how many? She's won 5 gold medals.
No, I understand what you're saying.
But
you're now you're finding the rationalization, the justification for somebody who shouldn't be there. And I think if you're going to do that, personally,
hold on. You can't just sit there and just erase what she has done and say,
I'm
hasn't
not.
done anything at all, and we'll put him on.
No, I'm not erasing what she's done, but she hasn't earned the right to be there as the 6th person.
Sure, she has because of what she has done previously.
Okay,
We're
agreeing to disagree.
Yeah,
I think Danny's going with the old Janet Jackson defense here. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, very much so. And it's
but Cooper Flagg hasn't done
no.
anything lately.
Yeah, outside of maybe this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at this from a marketing, branding opportunity, not only just for Nike, but for USA Basketball and the NBA and the WNBA, they are missing the boat.
Wholeheartedly on that one. I agree 100%.
Michael Jordan was not the force that he was until that tour. That tour is when Michael Jordan became a global sensation.
He was also the best player on that team.
But I'm talking about the level that it lifts you to.
Yeah, if he never plays, he's not going to be that. Yeah, he's not going to get that exposure.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing that I'm talking about. Yeah. If you're trying to grow your brand and grow the game, you put both of them on there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. Hey, basketball coverage on The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile and you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Mike Gundy steps in it again next on The Fan. fitting music yet again, Mr. Jeff Rush, because I just couldn't put it together what Mike Gundy's hair looked like. It looks like Ravishing Rick Rude's hair.
There you go.
Dude, it is something else, isn't it?
That mullet it's out of control.
I mean, it has a Ravishing Rick Rude feel about his flow he's
Just minus
got.
the curls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it is something else.
Ooh,
man.
dead or alive, Ravishing Rick Rude.
I think he's alive.
Dead.
Big dead. 25 years.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sweet fancy
Yeah.
Moses.
Yeah, he died.
Oh my God, 1999.
Yeah, that's 25 years ago.
Holy crap!
Quarter of a century. April 20th, 1999. Ravishing
Wow.
Rick Rude.
In high school. Good Lord.
Dead. All right. Well, the Ravishing Rick Rude of college football, Mike Gundy, he was at Big 12 Media Days taking the podium yesterday, and we talked about how Ollie Gordon II, who is, in my opinion, the best running back in college football, and EA Sports top 100 rankings had him as the top running back.
Well, he's one of
in
the
college
three
football.
top players
Yeah.
with a 96 overall rating in college football.
Really damn good.
Yes.
And he got a DUI, or he was arrested on suspicion of DUI last month. And we discussed Mike Gundy's choice to not suspend him and make him face the music by taking him to Big 12 Media Days, putting him front and center, and saying, "No, we're not gonna suspend him. We're just gonna throw him on out there." Well, we didn't know that as we were having that conversation, Mike Gundy was going to go on the podium and say this.
So I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is 0.08, and Ollie was 0.1. So I looked it up, and it was based on body weight. Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life. And I, it's just fine. So I got lucky. People get lucky. Ollie made a decision that he wished he could have done better. But when I talked to Ollie, I told him, I said, "You're lucky you got out light because you make a lot of money."
Oh boy, I don't even know where to start with this. One, I've done it with thousands of times. You don't and should
Wild.
not say that out loud. Let me go and rewind this. Every coach should be sitting down with their PR director before they go do any public appearances. Did you see the clip from Hard Knocks?
Which one?
Where they sat down prior to the general manager sat down prior to doing the press at the combine, and they actually showed the clip of their PR director going, "Hey, these are the questions you're probably going to get. Here's how to kind of walk through them. You're going to get asked about Saquon. You're going to get asked about the franchise tag. You're going to get asked about the quarterback and whether or not going to move up from number 6." And they go through it. If their PR director went through, "Hey, you're going to be asked about Ollie Gordon," and this is the okayed answer they went through, somebody should be fired. This is so... Every PR person I know on the planet has hearing this going, no.
I think that it's more an indictment on Mike Gundy himself because
100%.
Obviously he knew what was coming. He knew it was coming. And the sports information director at Oklahoma State, who would be in that position to run through this, along with his director of football ops, which would be your right-hand man, and you just sit there and you go down and you say, "All right, this is our day. This is how we're going to go about it." And maybe they do throw out some questions. I bet because of how long he has been there, and he's I think he's the second longest tenured coach in college football. I think he's tied with
Ferentz?
Kyle Whittingham. Ferentz is number 1. Whittingham and Gundy are tied for 2.
And Whittingham stepping down shortly.
But you have a guy like that. He goes, "No, I got this. I'm good." And they're probably just going, "Oh boy, all right.
Well, see you later. Bye."
We're going to see what comes out of his mouth." He's one of those wild cards where I think every college football coach outside of Mike Gundy, and since Mike Leach is passed, I don't know who else would be a guy who, and now Harbaugh's in the NFL. I don't know how many other coaches are going to be like, no, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to prep for any of this. I got this on my own. Because I think that most coaches
Dana?
are buttoned up.
Holgerson and Drinkovitz. Those are the only two.
I think Drink is, his is more intentional.
Sure.
I think he's gonna.
He's probably playing it out.
He's gonna.
But I think Dana.
I think
Holgerson
is a good one though.
Yeah.
I think Holgerson is one there. He's not gonna go through that. I think that
Chip was one of them, but he's the OC now, obviously.
But he was also a guy that
he didn't care.
He's not gonna say anything that makes headlines negatively. He will question authority, but he's not in this situation. He would have handled it completely differently. I'm talking like the wild cards. Holge is one of them.
Holgerson's one of them. Yeah, no, Chip would have gone, we're going to handle this in-house.
He would have suspended his ass. I mean, we've seen it a lot with Chip Kelly. He would have not gone down the road of you're going to face the music.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, I've done that 1,000 times.
Like, also going like 1, 2, or 4 beers, that's a difference.
There is a difference.
Like, going out to dinner and having a beer or 2 versus going out to dinner and having 4, there is a difference. There is like a legal semantics aside, there is a difference between the two.
Yeah.
And if you're saying you're doing like, look, for folks that aren't aware of Oklahoma, Texas, and how things have worked there historically for somebody his age, open container laws were still a thing when I was living in Texas. That is 20 years ago. Which means he grew up with it. Different mindsets. I'm not excusing it at all. But it was treated and discussed and handled very differently.
Well, in the awareness, just the overall awareness of being a person that, like tonight down at Autzen Stadium, they're holding a candlelight vigil for Kyrie Jackson, who was killed by a drunk driver.
Yes.
And knowing what has happened in the national landscape, the fact that, and look, it does hit closer to home here because Kyrie Jackson played for Oregon, but there was a former Maryland player and former Penn State player in those cars as well. It made national news.
Yes.
And it was making national headlines. Maybe it didn't come across Mike Gundy's AON timeline, but it went across every other ticker, and every other major sports publication was talking about the fact that a recently drafted player was killed by a drunk driver in a car accident over the weekend, and
having again, not only just like the general brains, but the emotional sensitivity to be like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Because the thing to do there is to say, I don't care if it's 1, 2, or 4. Number 1, Ollie's a minor. Number 2, you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
That's how you handle it. Because even if you're the scummiest of scumbags, you say what you need to say in public.
I've done it 1,000 times.
You know what I mean?
It's just a wild claim.
Why would you say that?
Now, to your point of 1 or 2 beers is completely different than, making the leap. I mean, I think if you were to talk to Mike Gundy today, you'd be like, dude, what the hell? He's like, well, I mentioned the body weight thing, and because he's 225 pounds, like 1 or 2 is like, to everybody else is like 4 to him, and it's like, you didn't say that though. And
no, you said that you've had 4 beers and drove 1,000 times. That's what people heard.
I think what he was meaning is like 1 or 2, and then I've done that 1,000 times,
Yeah.
Like that's what he's trying to say, and then 4 kicks that up quite a
Yeah. Because you start talking about pounding most of a 6-pack, you're going to go, yeah, you're probably a little inebriated.
Yeah, man.
In general. So, yeah.
In general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a way to be dumb.
Yeah. And is Ollie Gordon only really 20
He's
years
20.
old? He's 20 years old? Yeah, well, he's having to face that music age January 15th, 2004.
Yeah. So.
Just barely 20.
Yeah. You got to, he's been 20 for what, 5 months, 6 months? Yeah. So,
oh boy,
among other things,
well,
suspicion of DUI and didn't have the MIC, minor in consumption.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I jumped into a rose bush to avoid one of those.
Or the old MIP, minor in possession.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's both.
Yeah.
I got an MIP. No. I was the only one not drinking.
But
literally.
Did you have the backpack?
No. Literally, we were camping. I had just shown up, and everybody else sloshed, and cops show up, and the only person able to string a sentence together, this guy. And I was like, I just got here. And he's like, well, somebody's got to take the fall here. And I was like, what? So he goes, either all of them get one. And I was with my girlfriend and her friends at the time. And I was like, fine, just give me the MIP. Didn't even deserve that one.
Wow.
That was my only one.
I mean,
several other times. Yeah.
Yeah. I the one that I had, the
College.
cops showed up and
Bless
were
it.
breaking it up, and they were handing them out like hotcakes. And I jumped off a 2-story balcony into rose bushes.
Golly.
Yeah.
That's not
I went
That's
full,
one of several not smart decisions.
No. Well, I didn't know it was rose bushes. I just went full other guys. Aimed for the bushes. Did not know they were rose bushes. I regretted that horribly for 2 weeks.
You know who didn't believe my story? My football coaches.
Oh, you were the only one, huh?
I was like,
How much did you have to run for that?
not a lot. Not
No?
as much as you'd think. No. I was in college. I mean, I was 20.
Still.
It's like they were like, well, take care of it. And I was like, okay.
Don't
Thanks.
let it go to a warrant.
Yeah, I was like, okay. But that sucks. That's never a good feeling.
No.
All right.
All right, coming up next, our worst day on the web. And man, we are in the wrong business because clearly there is much more money in Legos than there is in radio. But first, here's the Big Kahuna with Sports Center Update.
I hear they got some tasty burgers.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, Team USA wraps up their training this evening in Las Vegas with a warm-up against Canada. 7:30 tip on FS1. No Kevin Durant due to a calf issue, but he still intends to play in the Olympics. Kawhi Leonard will leave the team as he wants to focus on preparing for the upcoming Clippers season. He'll be replaced by Celtics guard Derek White. The Mariners' bat sparked them to a win over the Padres last night in San Diego. Same two teams back at it today. 3:40 first pitch on Root Sports. Bryce Miller starting for Seattle. Michael King for San Diego. The Mariners still with a 2-game lead in the AL West over the Astros, who host the Marlins this evening. Over in the world of soccer, England and the Netherlands squaring off in a Euro 24 semifinal for the right to face Spain in Sunday's final. We are in the 75th minute, still tied at 1 apiece. Semifinal number 2 in Copa America with the winner of Colombia and Uruguay facing Argentina in the final. Kickoff at 5 o'clock on FS1. And former NBA player Jonte Porter has pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud for his betting scandal and could face over 4 years in prison. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
We mentioned a couple weeks ago a theft ring. It was $30,000 worth of Legos were found somewhere in L.A. County. Can't remember exactly where it was.
That's so many Legos.
Oh,
Actually, it's not as many Legos as you would think.
it's also not nearly as much as the $200,000 in stolen Legos that they found in Springfield, Oregon. Going local, ladies and gentlemen.
Not surprising.
Police recovered over 4,100 Lego sets worth more than $200,000 after a month-long investigation in Oregon. I don't know if you've noticed recently, there have been some Oregon black markets that have been busted up in the past 18 months.
We got, okay, let's try to name catalytic converters.
Yes.
We have the shoe app.
Yep.
With the former Nike executive
Who
whose
was forced to
son-
resign.
Yeah, well, that probably would have happened anyways with
This
the
week.
amount of layoffs that Nike has had, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have here?
Legos.
Oh, spray painting,
There you go.
the graffiti.
Mhm.
Did you see that one?
Mhm.
The guy who was in a Netflix like documentary about graffiti, and they were like, "Hey, we can identify this guy,"
Yeah.
and they took him down.
Oh.
Thank you. The graffiti, I do not understand.
It's very dumb.
It is the dumbest
Do it
thing.
on train cars.
Sure, if you're
Seriously-
gonna do it,
Seriously, do it on train cars.
go ahead and do it. But I will never understand, and especially if you're really bad at it, stop.
Yes, because most of you are. The ones that are really good, keep it up.
It's not that bad.
Really good graffiti looks incredible.
It looks awesome. And graffiti art is different than
Tagging.
tagging.
Tagging is
Tagging,
lame.
I do not.
Don't be dumb.
Get out of here with tagging. Stop it.
but-
Okay, and so those are the three that I got.
There's been a couple others, but on top of there was animal smuggling as well.
What?
Rare exotic reptiles.
Oh, Vancouver Airport. Did you see that?
Mhm.
Vancouver Airport today. They were, and this wasn't like smuggling. Vancouver Airport. They're unloading a plane, and there is it looked like a styrofoam cooler that you buy for like $1.99 at the grocery store. It was going down the conveyor belt, fell over.
And, uh-oh.
Snakes everywhere. My own personal hell.
I can go one further. You know what? I'll work.
That happened today.
I'll work on the other story that I've got here.
Oh my god.
Because that
Okay,
one that ties into
let's go to Legos. Let's go to Legos.
that. Eamon Henriksen,
All right.
which that's a hell of a name. Eamon.
Okay.
AMMON.
Okay.
47-year-old owner of a store called Brick Builders in Eugene. Allegedly and purportedly knowingly bought new unopened sets of Legos that have been stolen from other stores. They worked with multiple retail stores on a sting operation to basically let these people steal them and then watch where they went with them. And he was paying cash out of pocket for them and then reselling them.
Oh.
$200,000. Investors said they learned many of the Lego thieves used the cash to buy illegal drugs.
Okay, so
which they were using the stolen goods to track to this guy, and then they were using the money that guy was paying them to go ahead and track the drug sales too.
So are we saying that the copper pipe and wiring is safe, and now it's Legos that they're heisting?
It's targets of opportunity.
Yeah, and look,
TOA.
this is
no?
this is awful, but several businesses around with theft prevention,
Locking
they just
everything down.
they go, if somebody steals something, they can't like run them down and beat them up.
Unless you're at that store here in Portland with the grocery store. Have you seen the story on that guy?
Yeah.
The security guard was like 6'5", 350.
Well, he's a security guard.
Yeah,
though.
but he like
they hired security to,
and he
to
literally
take care of
he
that.
manhandles people. If you try to steal, he will toss you. It is hilarious.
And I'm okay with that.
One of my favorite TikToks that I've discovered.
But a lot of these, like a lot of the big corporate, conglomerates, they're sitting there like, no, just let them go because it's not worth the lawsuit that we're going to face if you crack their skulls, right?
Yeah, we're just going to close the stores instead.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're like the small business owner, like this guy, his knowledge of it is where I want to know, how much did he know that these were being stolen?
Oh, he knew.
That's
what it shows.
Because as a small business owner, you're like, well, if this person is going to be selling me something that they're not going to use or whatever, because like I think what a lot of times what happens with this guy in his industry is somebody gets this, Lego set and for as a gift, and then they like, I'm not going to use this, so they go and they sell it to this guy. He undercuts them and pays them far less than what it's worth in a store, and then he can sell it at retail value, kind of like a pawn shop type deal.
Which is what he was doing, but he was knowingly doing it with stolen goods from the region.
And that is
up to over $200,000 worth. What's great is the Springfield police released a picture as part of the case, and it features a cop Lego arresting a criminal Lego with a police cruiser. These are from the Lego sets in the store. So some cop was in there like, hey, we got to do because they do the stage photos. So instead of doing the stage photo with all the evidence, they did a Lego mock-up with a cop and a criminal and a cop car.
That's fantastic.
I hope they took the time to put the car together because the car is fully assembled. It might have been already assembled, but part of me hopes he was like, hey, let's open this one and do it. It's worth it.
Yeah, hey, you guys, come on. Just give me like 20 minutes here.
It's worth it. Yeah, it's not like 1,000 pieces. It's like at most like 200. At most, right? But yeah, this is another one of these. It's just popped up, and it's absolutely incredible. Police also arrested Albert Nash, 57-year-old, describing him as an accomplice and an employee. So there's a new law in Oregon that went into effect this year that penalizes retail theft double what I believe what it used to be.
Oh.
So, and it gets harsher based on, levels like
good,
larceny.
because there's small business owners that are losing their livelihoods because people are just ripping them off left and right.
This is now the third Lego seizure in the past 2 months. I'm sorry, 3 months now in April. They seized over, that was the one I was talking about earlier, the $300,000 worth of Legos. And then there's the $30,000 with the stolen sets with the old man you were talking about when we were off air.
Yeah, he was like 80 years old.
71.
Yeah.
But still, 71 is way too old to be stealing Legos.
Stealing Legos, black marketing. I never knew that the Lego game was... Legos are ridiculously expensive.
Dumb expensive when you get into like the actual no BS sets, and
like the 8,000 piece Star Wars.
And there's
some of those up to like $500 and stuff. Man.
No, they have ones in here that were $1,000.
Jeez.
And so they have these limited edition ones. And so there were some like limited edition ones that were stolen that he was selling.
Yeah.
So I told you I'd tell you another story here.
Okay.
We have a second, so I'll put it in here. This is truly awful when you think about how your personal fear stinks.
Yeah.
What if I told you that there was a man in China caught smuggling 100 live snakes in his pants?
I'm only smuggling one.
That's generous.
Well, to be fair, this man was smuggling milk snakes.
Okay. Why?
They seized 104.
Do milk snakes bite?
They all snakes bite.
Mm.
Even garter snakes.
I think
bite.
they just nurse.
He was smuggling in milk snakes and corn snakes, but a bunch of them, many of them were non-native, which if you've ever watched the Fish and Garrett guy on TikTok, he's the guy that boops the snoots of all the animals in the Everglades. He's looking for the 20-foot python. Have you ever not seen this?
No.
This guy's modern day Steve Irwin. Like he walks around the Everglades and the Amazon barefoot.
Holy catfish!
Yeah. And he's just like, oh, look at this. This is just a pile of swamp puppies. And he's out in the middle of the night flashing a spotlight at all the crocodiles in the Everglades. Like all of the evil creatures that are in the Everglades. He's out there trying to, part of what he does is he grabs up all the non-native species.
Okay. So that's his game.
Well, yes. But yeah, he's found, did you know that chameleons are taking over down there in the Everglades because some were released? Chameleons, not native.
It's just karma.
Karma?
Karma,
chameleon?
Got it?
Well, they come and go.
Yeah. The story is incredible. It says a man has been caught trying to smuggle more than 100 live snakes into mainland China by cramming them into his trousers. He was stopped by a customs officer as he sought to slip out of semi-autonomous Hong Kong and into the border city of Shenzhen. Upon inspection, customs officers discovered that the pockets of the trousers he was wearing were packed with 6 canvas drawstring bags and sealed with tape.
Yeah, this guy's got. I mean, he was definitely wearing cargo pants, which that red flags left and right. When I see the cargo pants, I have my spidey senses start popping up. What do you need that many pockets for, bud? What do you need? Oh, snakes
to handle all of my
Even
stuff.
Even more. You are a dude. There's nothing more than your phone, wallet, keys. Maybe if you dip or smoke, then you have that. But phone, wallet, keys. That's all you need.
You're missing 2 things besides the shoe, but sure.
What?
That I used to carry every day.
I don't know what you carried every day. Like
peace.
There you go.
Get the Dexter music going.
My everyday carry, my knife and my sidearm.
Well, what I think it was.
You put that in your pocket?
Depending on which I was on or off duty. On duty, it's on my hip. Off duty, it was in my pocket.
I think what Austin Powers' checklist was the old spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I had a spare pocket for whatever else I had.
You and your cargo pants.
I love my cargo pants.
Well, that's when
so
you
used to having
you
pockets.
just said when you were on duty.
Yeah. On or off duty.
Military personnel excluded from the cargo pants. I have my questions.
I also had my multi-tool.
Your Leatherman?
Mm-hmm.
Your Leatherman device?
People always used to laugh. Like,
Oregon product, yes.
No, yeah, they are.
yeah.
They are Oregon State grad. They need to get that Leatherman money. Forget looking at NVIDIA. You need that Leatherman money.
Yeah, their facilities out in Northeast.
Yeah. Those are very useful.
Oh, yeah. I would probably use it, no joke, damn near once a day for something.
See, I have one in my car because I fancy myself as a person that doesn't need a Leatherman very often.
I'm always doing something.
My day-to-day,
Especially back then, I was always doing something.
Well, yeah, you had a job that required it.
Well, that and Danny has to alter his victims' dental records.
Look, the usefulness of a saw and or file.
You guys.
Why do all these teeth look like they came from George Washington?
Ooh, AirPods in the pocket too.
Yeah, that's another one. Especially with how big they are now.
Am I the only person that still has like corded earbuds?
Yes.
For their phone?
My wife tried to hold on to those, and she's like, I always lose them. I'm like, be an adult and don't lose them.
You're not the only husband who has had that conversation with his wife.
It's weird. I've had 2 pair. And guess what? The other pair I still have. I just got the new ones.
Yeah, my favorite part is when she goes, well, I go, why don't you use the Find My Phone app, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your AirPods will pop up. Oh, yeah, they're dead. It's like, well, did you not charge them? She's like, well, no.
Well, I know, like, even with the iPhone or an iPad, you can still make it sound even if it's dead.
Wherever it was last, we can find it, though.
Mm-hmm. No.
It's like, I don't know if she puts it in a rocket ship and shoots it into outer space, and that's where it goes. Things just disappear, man.
She pulled an old Ralph Cramden. To the moon, Alice.
To the moon, Alice.
One of these days.
All right, coming up next. Should you be allowed to do this? Danny and Dusty, 10 the Fan. It feels like this may be something you shouldn't be allowed to do. The Arkansas Razorbacks men's basketball Twitter account tweeted out going for gold at Team USA, at USA Basketball, and at Coach Cal Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And it had the following: a picture of Bam Adebayo, a picture of Devin Booker, and a picture of Anthony Davis.
What do these three players have in common,
They
Danny?
played at Kentucky.
Well, that seems strange for an Arkansas account to be tweeting out.
Well, I mean, it's close enough.
I mean,
Most people don't have a map.
Should you be allowed to co-op that? No.
No. It's Coach Cal.
Great
at his
job on
finest.
getting the Heisman, says Oklahoma University about Caleb Williams.
Well, hold on. I really think that. Well, no. At least Caleb Williams went to Oklahoma.
But you know what I mean? Like,
these guys didn't even go there.
But you know what I mean? Like, that's just
this is
so dumb.
Ohio State claiming Joe Burrow too. But
yes.
But if you go, this is actually the ultimate John Calipari move, though. Coach Cal was never about
Kentucky.
actually winning games at Kentucky. He was about getting his guys drafted and being in the green room on draft night and how many lottery picks do I have? Get ready, Arkansas. Get ready, because this is I can't believe Arkansas fans are thrilled with this, you know? Like, there's no way that they are sitting there going, "Yep, these are our guys now. Bam Adebayo, he's one of us now." The only guy that you can do this with is Drake, because he came with Coach Cal to Arkansas.
Yeah, there you go. And and
he's been taking L's all over the place.
Which, I mean, deservedly. They came up with a great phrase for this at Josh Moore HL. Has anyone coined a phrase yet for what Arkansas is doing? Because I feel like hogwashing is perfect.
That is a fantastic name for it.
It's absolutely, you could not be better.
Yeah.
Forget sports washing, hogwashing.
I hope they're
because it's both
again.
hogwash and hogwashing.
Double entendre. I love Arkansas's basketball floor, though.
Oh, it's great.
The Razorback, it was like the first, them and Kansas had the first oversized logos on the floor where it basically goes from three-point line to three-point line, and that big old Razorback
big old hog
is so cool. It is so cool in the middle of the floor. I love Arkansas's logo. It's a unique mascot. It's a cool mascot. I love I love it.
Who had a bigger hog, Brett Bielema or Arkansas basketball?
What?
I'm sorry, but hogwashing sounds like a role on a porn set.
I mean, I really want to say what that's actually called, but I don't know if I can say it on the radio.
Come on, y'all were thinking it. I just said it.
That's part of the credits. That's the post credits.
Literally, I can't take you guys anywhere. I can't.
She says hogwashing with a washcloth.
The terrible towels are coming to Arkansas.
They're all just rock hard.
Crack that thing in half.
Wow. All right.
Throwing them like frisbees. Come on. At college, how hard could those be to come across?
Or junior high.
Oh, man.
It just writes itself. Did you never see the Brett Bielema hog out front? No. He had a giant wooden Razorback outside his house.
No. The way you framed that question,
giant hog.
It was. I didn't know what you were talking about, and I still don't know what you're talking about with Bielema's house. But it now makes sense what you said. Fuck to it.
It's crazy. What? I mean.
Oh, man.
No, nothing? So we're getting...
I think we got to get a break.
Hog Tua.
Hog Tua? The Hog Tua. Spit on that thing. Did you see she got paid $30,000 to appear at a club over the weekend?
Good for her.
Monetize that crap.
I bet she doesn't make that in a year at the Spring Factory.
No, definitely not.
What a come up.
Or teaching.
She wasn't a teacher.
Yeah.
Her dad wasn't a priest. She worked at a spring factory. Didn't know Nashville was a spring factory hub, but
No.
you learn something new every
Yeah,
day.
like, have you ever seen how springs are made?
They
Have you
gotta
ever
get
seen the
made
video for
somewhere.
that? It's a trip.
Yeah.
Also, like springs are almost like entirely automated, so that kind of is this some sort of like bespoke spring factory where they're winding them by hand?
I feel like no. No, that's not it at all. I feel like she pushes a button all day.
Probably. But
Like
even then, like it's all automated. Like
She's quality control. She's spring quality control.
It's computers.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right. She's that guy.
she's just checking to make sure that it just bounces back.
All right.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
That's basically this segment in a nutshell. All right, coming up next, which NFL teams have the best units? Hour number 3, Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan. Hour number 3 here on a Wednesday afternoon. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM The Fan, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being a part of, thanks for having us be a part of your day. And, well, let's pivot to some NFL.
Let's do it.
We'll keep talking about units and hogs, but maybe a little bit different here. Bill Barnwell of ESPN, very smart man, has released his rankings of best overall playmaking units that he brings out every year. I think he's done this for 4 years, I believe now. And some of them aren't surprising, but what becomes interesting is who's at the bottom that could possibly find their way on the way up by the end of the year. And then when you start looking at some of the groups and where they kind of sit in the pantheon, you start to understand some divisions are better than others by a long shot.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you look at this, because it's something that we talked about yesterday at this time when we were talking about surprise teams. And by Harbaugh's presence and Greg Roman's ability to cover up the lack of threats downfield, I think that the Chargers will be better this year. And when you have a 5-win season a year ago, can't get much worse. But they have the Chargers dead last in the NFL as far as weapons available. And this is something that we talked about yesterday, is that Keenan Allen, gone. Mike Williams, gone. You have Quentin Johnson, who's out there, and then you're going to be relying on Ladd McConkey. And Quentin Johnson was not good last year. As Barnwell points out, that only Nelson Aguilar and Darius Hayward-Bay had worse rookie seasons as first-round draft picks as wide receivers.
Gross.
And you're going to be featuring Ladd McConkey, and you are going to be featuring your tight end room, which you have 3 of them that are pretty good, but none of them are elite in Will Dissly, Hayden Hurst, and Donald Parham.
It's not patchwork, but you're getting second-tier guys across the board that are solid.
And you don't have that game changer.
No.
You don't have a Travis Kelce or Dallas Goedert even. Like, you are in the tier below.
Or a tight end from Iowa.
But the idea is you bolster your offensive line. You got anchors on both sides. You need Rashawn Slater to stay healthy. You got Joe Alt as your right tackle in the first round of this year's draft. It'll be the quintessential Jim Harbaugh, Greg Roman offense. We're going to win between the tackles, and then we are going to kill you on the intermediate stuff, because your linebackers have to respect the game in between the tackles when you're running the football, and now we will kill you with replacers. And Ladd McConkey is a guy they feel can thrive in that role. He's an undersized wide receiver.
He is.
He is fast, and he's faster than people think,
Great
because he's
feet, great hands.
white,
Yeah.
and people are like, can't be that fast. He ran like a 4.38,
Yeah,
right?
he ran blazing fast at the combine.
But he is not your NFL game-breaking wide receiver. Yeah, that's just not who he is, and they do not have that target. But you have a quarterback with a howitzer on his arm who's smart as all get out. It is a situation that you can see this offense working, although being void of talent. And I think Barnwell's right. I think they do have the worst collection of skill position players in the entire NFL.
I mean, they don't have a pair of knees or Achilles in their running back room. They have J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
Both have destroyed
run them into the ground.
knees
though.
and Achilles. And I don't know how you can go in, consider, I know the salary cap casualties and wanting to get cheaper because of the bloated, not necessarily bloated, but more expensive contracts of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. But there's a gap between those guys and who's the running back that was fighting for money, didn't get it.
Take your pick.
Yeah, I know the one that they've gone back and forth
Austin
with.
Eckler.
Eckler. Eckler is still, even though he's dinged up, well, you brought back dinged up and not as good.
Yeah, and just think of it this way. The team that he has at 31 is the New England Patriots.
Ahead of the Chargers. Quick, name somebody on the Patriots offense.
Well, I can do that.
No. Any of you listening who are not Patriots fans.
Well, but before the injury, Ramador Stevenson he's a really damn good running back. You have Kendrick Bourne, who is more of a possession than a number one threat. And then they drafted Jalen Polk out of Washington in the second round. And they have Hunter Henry, who is, one of those step above those those Chargers tight ends. But they are not good at all in the skill positions. That tells you kind of where and how dire the situation is with the Chargers in their skill position room. But when you have a quarterback and a head coach, you can mask a lot of things. And that is what they are hoping for. And when you look at a team like New England where you're void of talent, you have Jacoby Brissett, you have a rookie head coach in Gerard Mayo who has not done anything. Drake May is waiting in the wings. We'll see how long until he actually starts taking meaningful snaps. It's not a situation that you look at and you go, yeah, they have the coaching and the quarterback that can elevate the New England Patriots. That's one thing that the Chargers do have. I also look at the Denver Broncos, who they have at 30, and you go, there's a very similar situation where you actually have a head coach, though, in Sean Payton, who can get it done. You are void of, you do not have talent in that skill position that you need to win in the NFL. And your quarterback position is you're going to be leaning on Bo Nix. Right?
Yeah,
a rookie quarterback, and you're going to hope that Troy Franklin, who you got in the 4th round, pops because, I mean, they're banged up in their wide receiver room year after year. Marvin Mims has promise, but
I'm
you're
surprised
not quite
that
sure.
this group isn't rated last.
The
Broncos.
The Broncos?
I think to me, the patchwork combo that the Chargers have has not only a higher floor, but a higher ceiling.
They have no proven wide receiver, though. I
Which is
mean,
fair.
in Marvin Mims,
It's proven-ish.
he flashed it.
Yeah.
Josh Reynolds is also a possession receiver. They have him. Cortland Sutton, another those are all just like a minor upgrade from everybody that the Chargers have, and then they're going to hope that Troy Franklin does pop. And they you just cross your fingers and you go, we hope he is that guy that we saw at the University of Oregon. It goes without saying, the question mark with Troy Franklin is not his ability to separate. It is a little bit at top of route, even though I think he's better than what a lot of others think he is. Just because I saw him up close so often, there was questions of his top of route, but it's his size and durability, right? Because he is 175 pounds, and he is not
soaking wet.
the burner vertically that, a Tyreek Hill or, some small shifty receivers that we know in the NFL he is a long, lanky guy. And I think that's a big question mark, is the durability over a 17-week season for him. But the bottom, you're looking at it. I mean, there are a lot of haves and the have-nots across the NFL, and the bottom of this list is littered with the have-nots.
And it's not even just kind of a slightly less have-nots. It's we've made an actual choice to be a have-not right now. Whether it's Chargers because they don't have the money right now, they need to get their books right to make more sense because they've invested in defense. Because it's the Broncos because they drafted poorly. Whether it's the Patriots because they drafted poorly, or
and they just overhauled and got most of the Belichick guys out.
Well,
and they brought in,
and that's again part of the draft process.
Could not draft a wide receiver to save their lives.
This is a gutting line from Barnwell. If Belichick had drafted Nick Chubb ahead of Sony Michel in 2018, Deebo Samuel instead of N'Keal Harry in 2019, or George Pickens instead of Tyquan Thornton in 2022, in each case, the next player taken at that position in their consecutive drafts.
Yep.
If you get one of those guys, it changes your offensive outlook significantly, let alone all of them.
Now, N'Keal Harry is trying his hand at tight end. We'll see if that works.
He probably should have been from the jump, right?
No, because he was big, strong, and fast.
Was he fast?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I thought he ran the slow 40.
N'Keal Harry. Well, look, I don't 40s are great when you have a guy who's blazing fast.
No, he did one at 4.53.
Yeah, I mean he for his size.
For his size, yeah. I thought for some reason he was one of the guys that came in and ran the 4.6 where I was like, ooh.
No. But there was that promise of N'Keal Harry of what could be. It didn't pan out. They fell flat on their face with that pick, and they've been wallowing in mediocre talent at wide receiver for 3 decades almost.
Yeah. All right. I want to actually stay on this because there's
Okay.
some more of this that I want to pull out of. Number one, which in the bottom third is most likely to kind of pull themselves up by their bootstraps or be most surprising? But also, there's another group in here. The black and blue division is a little bit more skilled than you may think here. Danny and Dusty, 1080 the Fan. We're walking through Bill Barnwell of ESPN. He's released his best overall offensive unit grades. It's the tight end, running back, wide receiver trios, as they were grouped together. We went through the dregs of the NFL. I want to pivot from that for a little bit and talk about there's a the black and blue division. You typically think about 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but you start working your way through here, and there's quite a bit of star power in the top half of the offensive rating groups.
Well, I mean, both the AFC North and the NFC North are considered those black and blue divisions because it's cold weather, beat you up, grind you to a pulp, and both of them are pretty loaded from the skill positions. I think the NFC North obviously pops a little bit more than the AFC North because of the fact that there's still some question marks about Pittsburgh and how good they are, especially on the perimeter. You have George Pickens. You went out and you drafted Roman Wilson out of the University of Michigan. You've got in your running back room Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Cordell Patterson, all involved in the offense. And you have Pat Freiermuth at tight end. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not like a bottom feeder, but you have a ton of question marks there still because Barnwell has the Pittsburgh Steelers at 27th.
And that's as a precursor. That's one of the teams that I'm looking at being higher.
I think it could be, but it all depends on what they have in Russell Wilson. What version of Russell Wilson that you have at quarterback, and is it eventually Justin Fields? I don't know. I think that is a big hang-up in the success of any of those guys.
100%. The flip side is it's also not Matt Canada.
Not Canada.
But yeah, the lowest rated NFC North team is the Green Bay Packers at 17. So you're basically at the top half.
And look, Jordan Love has surprised everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been really fun to kind of watch his growth as a quarterback. And like we don't want to take the slow approach and the slower route, but Jordan Love has turned into that guy. They get him a workhorse running back in Josh Jacobs this offseason. How much tread he has left on the tires, we'll find out. But thankfully, Josh McDaniels never ran him for half of a season, so he was limited on his touches. He could have quite a bit left on those tires. Christian Watson looked really good, but has battled injury, especially hamstring injuries, which the depths that he's gone into to make sure his
we've got to talk about that sometime.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's been multiple outlets that have run the story and the hamstring treatment and how it's being done in the NFL. We'll have to that'll be a rainy day.
And Christian Watson is kind of changing the game on how he's approaching his hamstring management and injury mitigation. But they have Watson, Romeo Doubs, and then Luke Musgrave is gonna be a damn dude.
Yeah.
And that's their tight end. That's a pretty decent crew that they're rolling out with.
All still, with the exception of Jacobs, all still have some growth.
And oh, by the way, you have AJ Dillon still in that backfield as well. If anything happens to Josh Jacobs,
he's been okay the last couple of years after popping off 4 years ago. He's just been okay. So, but again, okay is better than what the Chargers
as
have.
Your backup running back, it's better than most. Right.
I mean,
there.
Would you take AJ Dillon right now on the Chargers over both of your running backs? The answer is yes.
Yeah. Because of injuries, J.K. Dobbins, nope. Edwards,
nope. The Gus bus hasn't.
They're just bringing in the Ravens' old running back room. Just rebuild it.
Because that worked out really well for the Ravens.
Yeah. The NFC North, though, when that room is the worst, and then you look at where the other three teams in that division are, though, you have the Detroit Lions
at number 7,
and
this is probably the one that I'm going to argue the most.
What?
Because it should be higher.
They should be higher.
I don't care if they lost Josh Reynolds.
You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Jamison Williams, if he can unsuspend himself ever. You have Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and then Sam Laporta as your tight end. That's terrifying. That is terrifying.
Yes.
They are loaded, but I think that goes to them being at 7. All right, who are you going to unseat then in front of Detroit in these conversations? Is it Chicago? Because Chicago went out and they said, we have got Caleb Williams. Now we are going to surround him with as much talent as we possibly can. A guy who you and I both thought was the number 1 receiver in the draft. They draft Roma Dunze. They get him at 8 because Malik Neighbors went 6 to the Giants. You got DJ Moore, who you traded for last year. You go out and you get Keenan Allen. You return Cole Kmet. You got DeAndre Swift at the running back position. You have Khalil Herbert still and Rashawn Johnson. They have 3 guys that they can give carries to and distribute in the running back room, where you also have variation there. You can run between the tackles. You've got receiving running backs. The Bears are, it's crazy to say, very skilled.
Just want to say,
very skilled.
Shout out to USC quarterbacks for coming into situations with the best talent probably ever possible as a rookie quarterback. Because you can make a case that Caleb Williams is coming into the most talented rookie quarterback has come into. I think Peyton Manning with the Colts. We went over this off the air a couple weeks ago because we were like, was Edge there? Was Marvin there? The other one is Matt Leinart, who, when he got to the Cardinals, had Fitz, Anquan Bolden, and Edgerrin James.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not off, because typically great rookie quarterbacks picked at top of draft go to crappy team.
And look, another USC quarterback who is right in front of Chicago at number 5 is the Minnesota Vikings. And I've been saying this for a long time. Like, you can criticize the J.J. McCarthy draft pick all you want. Like, okay, go and do it. They need somebody that can just not screw it up. And maybe Sam Darnold is that guy, the former USC quarterback, because has he ever had a roster as talented as the one that he has?
God, no.
Aaron Jones at running back, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson.
No.
Dude, that is a loaded skill position room. And that's where you go back to, all right, we just went through 2 teams directly in front of Detroit there. And Detroit does seem low at 7, but who you bumping out, because you just sit there and you're in awe of at every single position you have layers too, and you can get beat. And that is the thing that I'm most excited to see, whether it is Darnold or McCarthy, is this Minnesota offense with Kevin O'Connell as their head coach and offensive coordinator. They will kill you with a layered attack. And you have Aaron Jones, who can be a back out and be a receiving back. You can obviously run with him. Justin Jefferson is your go downfield, always open wide receiver. Jordan Addison can be used as that crosser and get across the field and put safeties and linebackers in a bind as he's crossing the field and throttling down. And then TJ Hawkinson is that one of those top level tight ends that we were talking about. They don't have in LA with the Chargers. They got one in Minnesota. And when you think of every layer of a defense that Minnesota can attack you with, get a quarterback who can make a decision quick and get the damn ball out. And that is how you win football games.
Turns out it's mildly useful.
But mildly useful. You can mask a lot of things that way. And look, that's what made Kirk Cousins good though. But that's what held Kirk Cousins from being great, was that he did not make the throws in the most critical situations when it was game on the line in a meaningful game, not a Monday night game in the middle of the season. You like that. Yeah. No, in the most meaningful times, will Kirk Cousins make that throw? I don't think Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy will this year for Minnesota, but you have every option available for you with those guys on the field.
This is my controversial take.
Yeah.
The Texans are here at number 4. They've got Nico Collins. They've got Dalton Schultz.
Dude, they got better.
And I know they got better, and I know they got Diggs. I think we're starting to see the Diggs fall off.
Yeah.
And part of me wonders, not only is his fall off real, but also is his other stuff, the baggage, is that problematic?
And here's my thing. And does he get upset if he's number 2 because you have Nico Collins and also Tank Dell? Remember, Tank Dell was having a hell of a season and he got hurt. No, I think he broke his leg, like his lower leg. Like it was like an ankle.
Whatever it definitely hurt the Texans because all of a sudden they only had to cover one half the field.
If you go down the line with what CJ Stroud has to throw to, I mean, it is 3 receivers, Dalton Schultz at tight end. Oh, by the way, if you want to go 4 wide, you can put Robert Woods in, who does not have a lot left in his tank.
Just a route runner.
But can be, if he's your 4th option, you're in a good spot. You are in a very good spot. And will Stephon Diggs, without getting the amount of touches that he's come accustomed to seeing.
Because that's an equal opportunity offense. That's what it is.
Will he just check out and say, deuces, I'm out? That is a legitimate question that everybody needs to answer in Houston.
What's the team in here that's for you that is slotted too low?
Oh, we get top 3 is Miami. Duh.
Yeah.
When
the top 3 are so
Philly at number 2, where you add Saquon Barkley
to that group.
AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Good Lord.
And then there's a huge gap between them and the Niners with Debo, Kittle, Ayuk for now. And they added Ricky Pearsall.
And 3rd and Juan.
That's right. Juwan Jennings.
Yeah. Juwan Jennings, too.
Have you seen the Ricky Pearsall workouts?
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Have you seen the Pearsall workouts? He's a freak.
No, yeah, he is a freak of nature.
He's a freak.
He is a freak. A team that is too low on this.
Yeah.
I think it's Cincy. Cincinnati is sitting there at 11 in these rankings. And you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jermaine Burton. Trent Irwin is going to be your 4th wide receiver that you throw in there, with Mike Gesicki and Drew Sample as your tight ends. I think they get knocked down because of Zach Moss being your lead back, because Joe Mixon being gone, and he's now in Houston. Really good. But I think that's where they take that step back. But you have Joe Burrow healthy and Jamar Chase. I don't care. Where if you have a receiver that is that elite, he's going to get open. And that is a weapon in and of itself to be in the top 10.
This maybe speaks to how loaded the NFL is now. But outside of the Lions, for me, it's other NFC team. It's the Falcons.
Yeah.
They're 10, but you're like, Drake London, great wide receiver.
Mhm.
Kyle Pitts, great tight end. Bijan Robinson, we talked about it the other day, maybe the best all-around back on all of football right now. Like, if that's the case, again, with the exception of Christian McCaffrey, if that's the case, like that seems like a team, if quarterback play is above par, as it were, that they could really blow up.
Yeah, they're going to win the division.
Like that to me seems like a team, like, if you looked, again, coaching limited as far as the offensive side of the ball, would it shock you if they were one of the top 3 scoring offenses in football?
No, just based on the fact you play Carolina twice.
Pad that number.
You'll put up some points.
Few 40 spots.
You'll put up some points at that point, but no, I wouldn't be shocked one bit, not one bit. And that the one thing that I don't know, and we'll see how good it works out for them, is you have Zach Robinson as their offensive coordinator, who he comes from the Sean McVay coaching tree, right? How well does he adapt and as a play caller in being in that Atlanta offense? Because not everybody that gets out of the wings of Sean McVay just absorbs it all by osmosis, right?
Just lives on.
Yeah.
Coming up next here, EA Sports NCAA Football 25 rankings. They're out. Well, at least the top 100. We'll dive into that and how they spread out and how some of the local boys did. But first, here's Big Kahuna with the Sports Center update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Stanford's. This classic American steakhouse has exactly what you've been craving. Visit them in Clackamas, Tannisbourne, or online at stanfords.com. First on The Fan, Team USA wraps up their training this evening in Las Vegas with a warm-up against Canada. 7:30 tip on FS1. No Kevin Durant due to a calf issue, but he says he still intends to play in the Olympics. Kawhi Leonard leaving Team USA as he wants to focus on preparing for the upcoming NBA season. He'll be replaced by Celtics guard Derek White. Over in Major League Baseball, Mariners bats sparked them to a win over the Padres last night in San Diego. Those same two teams back at it today. 3:40 first pitch on Root Sports. Bryce Miller on the bump for Seattle. Michael King for San Diego. The Mariners still holding a 2-game lead in the AL West over the Astros, who host the Marlins this evening. England and Netherlands earlier today in a Euro 24 semifinal. Ollie Watkins with the go-ahead goal in the 90th minute, sending England to Sunday's final against Spain with a 2-1 win. And semifinal number 2 in Copa America with the winner of Colombia and Uruguay facing Argentina in the final. Kickoff at 5 o'clock on FS1. And this just breaking in the last handful of minutes. Doug McIntyre of Fox Sports reporting Greg Berhalter out as head coach of the U.S. men's national team. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
We should have some more uplifting music than this right now, simply because it is a glorious, momentous occasion. NCAA football is now, if you pre-order, a week away.
Yeah, man. Look at that.
It
It's
is
a week from today?
Wednesday at midnight, so Thursday morning.
Oh, wow.
No, it'll be available.
It's not bad.
No. Have I told you I'm back Wednesday, but I'm off Thursday and Friday?
Mentally, you're just going to be out.
I'm going to be playing some NCAA football.
Yeah, buddy.
With that, the top 100, they've done a really great job with this release. They've gone full slow drip to keep all of us junkies just fiending for it. The top 100 has been released, and a lot of locals, a lot of Ducks made the list.
Yeah, when you look at the way that it broke down, I went through, because EA Sports has a really cool filtering feature where you can go through and you can filter by position, by school, by conference. You can add multiple teams. And so I went through the top 100 and I was looking at, all right, I see a lot of the same schools over and over and over again. And I have said, after watching the spring game and watching Ohio State, I was like, this is the most talented team in college football, and I don't think it's particularly close. Apparently, EA Sports feels the exact same way. They have 8 of the top 100 players in the game.
Mm-hmm.
8 of them. All of them are in the top 55.
And I will preface this by saying, of the top 100, 25 are from the Big Ten.
Well, you can go 25 are just from 4 schools, period. Because when I was looking at the same schools over and over again,
mm-hmm.
I went Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
25 players of the top 100, a quarter of them come from 4 schools. There is a top-heavy nature to college football that the distribution of talent, we all know it's always concentrated, but it just goes to show you Oregon has 5 players in it. If you look across the board of the top 100 rated players, there are only
excuse me, there's 31. There was a second page to this that I didn't see.
Yeah, there's in the Big Ten.
31 from the Big Ten. So 31% of almost a third of the top 100 is from the Big Ten.
Yeah, if you go through and you look at teams with 4 or more players, there's only 7 of them. To Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon, you can add Michigan with 5, Iowa with 4, and LSU with 4. The distribution of talent is concentrated. And by the way, all 4 of Iowa's players, 2 linebackers, both their safeties.
And I'm assuming
their punter's 101.
I was just saying their punter is clearly the 101st best player. The SEC, 29 players. So the Big Ten beat out the SEC.
That's interesting. The more schools. 18 to, what is the SEC sitting at? Are they sitting at 16?
16. But also, I think the only outlier school that I saw in the Big Ten one was Minnesota's left tackle, Eontre Ursery.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the only, what do you, it's like the, when you see the military personnel lining up against the door, it's 4 soldiers and a clown. That was like, what are you doing there?
Why are you in this conversation?
But otherwise, I believe it was all the others were all of the schools that you expect.
If you were wondering, Oregon had 5 players. Dylan Gabriel comes in at 30, the quarterback transfer for the Oregon Ducks. Tez Johnson at wide receiver. He's the 59th best player. He has 96 speed, and that makes sense. Jabbar Muhammad, the Washington transfer corner, he comes in at 65th. Evan Stewart, the Texas A&M transfer wide receiver, is 85th with 95 speed. He is long and fast, folks, and he is an incredible route runner. With that 95 speed, he is twitchy as all get out. And then Josh Connerly comes in at 95th overall. Nice. He is the left tackle for the Oregon Ducks. And I was reading around from, you go to Pro Football Focus and The Athletic and ESPN folks and all that. One of the guys that people are saying was a snub because he's considered to be a top 5 in most draft evaluators for next year's NFL draft is Johnny Cornelius. And he is not in the top 100. And they're saying, if you're going to put a guy in, he might be a good one to throw in there. But it's a it's a right tackle. You're not going to see a whole lot of tackles in there unless you are truly freakish. But I think that tells you a lot about how they feel about Josh Connerly, because all of the reviews continue to be positive.
There's one other clown in the lineup. One from Purdue, Dylan Thieneman, their free safety, 83rd overall.
Hey,
so you've got one Purdue and one Minnesota, just kind of sprinkled in there.
All good though.
Although,
all good.
My guys didn't do well either. USC, the only one they have is Jonah Monheim. They're I think they have him as a guard, but I think he's going to end up starting at center.
Okay.
But he's an early awards candidate. I think he's 40th on the list.
And that's the only player, huh?
That's the only guy from USC.
USC, that's weird. Well, the whole Northwest, if you look at no Beavs, no Cougs, no Huskies on there. But I mean, in the top 100 players in
no UCLA
according
either.
to EA Sports.
So you've got USC, but you got no UCLA.
Yeah, there's only, out 6 on the West Coast, and one of them
is
from SC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the number one player in the game is Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so damn.
So if you're wondering which school to start your franchise with, Michigan, even though they lost 18 players, they have got was it 3 of the top 20 players in the country, I believe?
They've got 3 of the top 20 and 5.
3 of the top
overall.
30, excuse me.
Or Ohio State, which has 8, all of them in the top 55, including.
Who wants to do that though?
Because if you like offense,
that's Ohio State.
Emeka Egbuka at wide receiver is 19th overall. Quinshawn Judkins, the transfer from Ole Miss, is at 9th. And then their other running back, Travion Henderson, is 23rd. Just let Will Howard just say, I'm not going to screw it up. I'm not going to screw it up. I'm just going to. You become Will Howard not screwing it up.
So
at that
the
point.
interesting thing is with this game is that they said they didn't go too much into the NIL stuff, and they're going to save that for future iterations. And I wonder how intricate this is going to end up getting. Like, you're going to have to start up your own collective, and you have to worry about some booster.
See, if it gets to that, I think that should be an option because I don't want to deal with that.
Turning off meddling boosters.
Yeah, just be like, nah.
You've got simulation where you get a booster that gets caught trying to funnel money to a recruit.
And now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
One thing that was interesting in this.
Recruit the sneakiness of your bag man.
Travis Hunter was 6th overall as a wide receiver. I don't know what his corner rating is going to be, but he's a 95 overall as a wide receiver. And I think that is right. Label him as a wide receiver because I do believe, even though he was the number 1 corner in the country coming out of high school, even though he was the number 1 overall recruit, I think he's a better receiver than he is a corner right now. And he could take a massive step forward. Shedeur Sanders is tied with Carson Beck as being the best quarterback in the game. And I don't agree with that.
Is yours on the same one? Because I think those are the top 3 quarterbacks. They're Beck, Shedeur, and Ewers.
Yeah. Ewers, I think, was right behind them. I think he was right behind them.
Let me pull this back up because I accidentally clicked the wrong box.
But I do believe that he was in there. I'm just excited for college football to be back. Let's go,
God,
baby.
Are you kidding me? I am so. Dylan Gabriel also was. You mentioned the Ducks earlier. He was 30th overall.
4th best quarterback.
Ewers is right in front of him at 27.
Yeah.
So Ewers is a 92. Beck and Sanders are both 93. And
all right.
How is Jackson Dart still in college?
Oh, that's a good question. COVID. Still keeping guys in school.
I saw his name and I went, how?
Yeah.
How? I don't understand.
Just ripping darts and throwing darts.
All right. Well, we got to get going real quick. We'll be back. A quick little reminder, you can join us tomorrow on the golf course. We'll be here on Danny and Dusty, 10 The Fan. Some breaking, very important news. Izache back in studio.
It's a Sache. You went Izache. You put a Z in there.
Did I put a Z in there?
You put a Z in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fine brand that he has cultivated. Please do not sully the fine brand.
Izache.
Oh, Izache 19.
Izache 19.
Because COVID got him again.
It was your birthday yesterday, so you're like what, 61?
Oh wow!
That one cut
hurt.
deep. You could hear the laugh, like oh god.
No man, no. His immune system is that of a 61-year-old.
Yeah,
He's healthy though. He's back. He's ready to go.
Which is perfect because you can join him and us tomorrow out on Langdon Farms for the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic.
This is one of my favorite days of the year.
Brought to you by Out-of-Town GMC. We will have all of the burritos from Victor Rico's. We will have all of the barbecue from Matt's Barbecue.
And lunch.
We will be rotating through the 6th hole, brought to you by Doers.
We're going to be out there early, 7:15. We're going to be there holding it down 7:15 to 9 a.m. Then we're going to be looping around in the afternoon round as well, and we'll be back there. Ooh, I think we are there at 4.
We come back, yeah.
4. We're gonna bring in the final groups.
Not get left out on the 6th hole again.
No, we got a cart, and when we're not at the 6th hole, we're gonna be just trucking around,
tooling around,
hanging out, and having a great time.
Can't
wait to see you guys.
We'll definitely be sampling all of the various vendors.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pace yourself, man. That's a long day out there.
I don't know if he can.
You guys say this like I wasn't out there all day last year. I was out there first thing in the morning, and I was packing the thing up late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I paced it by drinking an entire bottle throughout the day.
Yeah. And we saw you at the end.
Yeah.
I did help you pretty good on that one, though.
Russ did come out, and he opened that gullet right up. Right up. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day.
Are you kidding me? It's fantastic.
We got...
Get you guys in a week.
We got poll results.
We do.
Well, not final yet. Which college football team is poised to have the biggest letdown this season?
It was a runaway.
Colorado, 45% of the poll. Michigan, 26.3. Oregon, 24.2. And then
I
Ohio
voted
State,
for Ohio State.
4.5.
Nothing. 4.5%.
Yeah.
When the letdown is national title or bust, I feel like that letdown is going to be the biggest and the easiest.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to win a title.
Yeah. No write-ins. Just a lot of people dancing on Colorado.
Yeah, which is fun and expected.
Yeah. And then we have a Michigan alum that says, hey, they can't let me down this season. I'll just go and watch the Rose Bowl, from overtime of the Rose Bowl and the national championship game, and it'll be just fine.
Look, Ben Golliver is one of the biggest Michigan fans that exists on this planet, and he literally told me,
which is a weird take. He went to Johns Hopkins.
Yes, he did, but he grew up the same time. He's a couple years older than us, but that Charles Woodson Michigan team, was like that was his team. Which again, Charles Woodson's probably my second favorite college player of all time behind Reggie Bush. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But he said that they could lose for the next 20 years. It wouldn't bother him.
Okay. Every fan base
says that when they're still riding the high.